Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Skyrim. Last time we got started here in Riverwood, most prominently by visiting our buddy Alvor. Let's start this new round by heading into the Riverwood Trader.
Well, one of us has to do something.
I said no! No adventures, no theatrics, no thief chasing!
Well, what are you going to do then, huh? Let's hear it.
We are done talking about this. Oh, a customer. Sorry you had to hear that.
Alright, here are Lucan and Camilla Valerius in the Riverwood Trader. Let's start by picking Camilla's pocket of anything useful. An amethyst is a useful smithing supply.
You're as good. Never should have.
Raises pickpocket to 21. Gold is useful.
Filthy.
Oh.
Almost definitionally.
Keep your hands to yourself.
Maybe you could talk some sense into my pig-headed brother.
Her key to the Riverwood Trader will be helpful.
Filthy.
Her lockpick will be helpful. And that silver necklace, much like rings, I need 6 necklaces, any type will do, for my gear list. That's my first one. I need 5 more. Now let's talk to her.
You're a strapping young man. Don't be a stranger. You're not from around here. That makes 2 of us. I came here from the Imperial Province to work with my brother Lucan. It got bad back in Cyrodiil. The war with the Thalmor ruined everything. I came to Skyrim looking for a better life. So what did I get? Another war. I just want to find a good husband and start a family of my own. What can I do for you?
Alright. Looking is harmless. So, let's just take the useful things. Pheasants, not useful. None of this particularly useful. As we head over here, we get to iron arrows, which are useful. Duh. Right? Ammo for...
Well, I don't know what you overheard, but the Riverwood Trader is still open. Feel free to shop.
Alright. The dresser's empty. As I look at the chest, there are several useful things. There's gold, 2 straw, and a horse hide. Now for hearthfire, I end up needing 32 straw. With those first 2 in hand, that number drops to 30. Very good. How about this barrel? Nope. Potions of healing and magicka. I will actually... well, nah. I'll leave those where they are. I'll check this cupboard. Seeing nothing useful, I won't worry about it. Now, I do need these ingredients. Really only the ones that actually go in a potion. There we go. I can just get
The Riverwood
out of
Trader is
here.
everything you need in a general store.
Gotta have this coin purse. I'll know that's useful.
My sister Camilla or I will be happy to help you.
I want this gold, too. One, two, three, four.
Maybe you're looking for something particular.
Alright, let's pick Lucan's pocket. He's got an amethyst of his own.
You little thief! You're not getting anything!
Which I do want, incidentally. There's 23 pickpocket. It's level 6. 6 is our first magicka level. And for the perk, I'm going to take Alchemist 2. Potions and poisons you make are 40% stronger. And I should read these too. An alchemist can create magical potions and deadly poisons. Enchanting. The more powerful the enchanter, the stronger the magic he can bind to his weapons and armor. Smithing. The art of creating and improving weapons and armor from raw materials. Then sneak. Sneaking is the art of moving unseen and unheard. Highly skilled sneaks can even hide in plain sight. So there's that. We've hit level 6, which is awesome. More importantly, still able to take the perks I want. Let's grab 6 gold. His key to Riverwood Trader is redundant, so I'll leave it be.
Filthy pit!
Just grab the lockpick instead. Now, do I still need another ring? I think I might need one more. Yes, I do. This will be my last ring. After this...
Filthy!
Once I have this, rather, plain rings aren't going to be useful to me anymore.
Oh, no, you...
Come on.
Nice try!
Would you just fucking take it, dude?
Oh, no, you don't!
41.
Think you can steal...
Okay, I shouldn't fail 5 times in a row if I really have a 41% shot at it. Thank you! Alright. There's 24 pickpocket. We're done with him. Let's chat.
We carry just about anything you could need. I know some of it looks like junk, but everything's a treasure in the right light. Got something to say? Yes?
Do you sell spells?
I think I have a few old spell books laying about. If you want more, you'll have to go to the College of Winterhold.
Okay. Visit the College of Winterhold. We did that to get the pointer quest. Did something happen?
Yeah, we did have a bit of a break-in, but we still have plenty to sell. Robbers were only after one thing. An ornament, solid gold in the shape of a dragon's claw.
I could help you get the claw back.
You could? I've got some coin coming in from my last shipment. It's yours if you bring my claw back. Now, if you're going to get those thieves, you should head to Bleak Falls Barrow, northeast of town.
Started. The Golden Claw. Lucan Valerius in Riverwood is offering me a gold reward if I retrieve his antique golden claw stolen by bandits camped in Bleak Falls Barrow. Retrieve the golden claw. Let's visit the College of Winterhold as well.
Yes. So now you don't have to go, do you?
Oh, really? Well, I think your new helper here needs a guide.
No, by the 8, fine. But only to the edge of town. The sooner you find the claw, the sooner our lives can get back to normal. Don't let my sister do anything foolish. Show those thieves not to steal from Lucan Valerius. All right. The Riverwood Trader is everything you need in a general store.
Now, before we
Till
mess
next time.
too much with stuff up or down there, let's loot out the upstairs, where we've got several useful things in this chest, which the key to the Riverwood trader opens, so we don't need to steal anything from it. Now, I need 7 leather strips for the gear checklist, so that's everything I need, or for the crafting loop, rather. And then, those surplus 3 will go toward the 130 we need for Hearthfire. So I need 127 more strips. And I need 6 more wolf pelts. Outstanding. There are easier ways to do this.
We have to go through town and across the bridge to get to Bleak Falls Barrow. You can see it from here, though. The mountain just over the buildings.
As I'm playing, I just got a comment on my last video saying that in-game sounds are too loud, so I'll tell you what I'll do. Instead of playing with the headset volume, maybe I can fix it if I play with the master volume here. We'll turn effects down a little bit too. Try that.
Those thieves must be mad hiding out there. Those old crypts are filled with nothing but traps, trolls, and who knows what else. I wonder why they only stole Lucan's golden claw. I mean, we have plenty of things in the shop that are worth just as much coin. Lucan found the claw about a year after he opened the store. He never quite explained where he got it. He's a tricky one.
A bee. I'll certainly take that. Thank you very much.
This is the bridge out of town. The path up the mountain to the northwest leads to Bleak Falls Barrow. I guess I should get back to my brother. He'll throw a fit if I take too long. Such a child. Mara bless you for agreeing to help us.
How much farther do I have to walk?
Well, it's a winding road up the mountain just ahead. You'll know you're in the right place once you spot the old watchtower. Once you get to the tower, head north. Bleak Falls Barrow should be just around the corner further up. Good luck. Lucan and I will be waiting for you back in the shop. You're not from around here. That makes 2 of us.
Alright. Now let's head back to the Riverwood trader. Note that we can just go in through the upstairs entrance, which is quite a bit smarter. If we're wanting to steal things anyway. So, there's nothing terribly compelling on either of those shelves. But I want that gold and I want those 2 bear pelts. They're both standard, which means I need 15 more total and 5 more standard. Excellent. Now, as far as stuff we need to steal, there's just a little bit of gold over here. And we need to look in this dresser. Seeing that there's nothing, I can relax. Because the books we can read without taking. Here's Songs of the Return, Volume 2. The First Tale of the Darum Zoo. Let's go take this off the list and then we'll read it. Our great Lord Ysgramor, the harbinger of us all, did then send forth his 2 beloved sons, with him the only other survivors of the brutalities of Sarthal, to seek out the bravest warriors of the land and mount the Great Return. Ingol and Ilgar they were called, and they were known among Atmora as fine warriors with bright eyes and dawning futures, Ingol the Elder was the brave strategist, bringing his learnings to bear on the battlefield that his enemies would be defeated before they even know the battle had begun. Ilgar, the Younger, was possessed of an unwavering spirit that drove his singular prowess to overwhelming feats in war. Together, the mind and the arm, they were capable of sowing a destruction most thorough and glorious to any foe who stood before them. Before they parted ways to gather their crews, the two clasped arms and necks in the old fashion, and laughed at the heavens for their stories to come. Young Ilgar then took to the massive shipyards of Jilkerfik at the southern point, and commissioned 2 ships for himself and his brother. He would command the Daramzu and his brother the Harak, thus carrying the names of the 2 favored stars of their heavens. The shipmakers' spirits had been suitably filled by Ysgramor's tales of the savage elves, and they set about to birth ships that befit their noble homeland. Arrangements having been made, Ilgar set forth to the academies of honored soldiers, seeking out his most trusted friends and advisors to join him on the venture of the return. By now the stories of the new land to the south were spreading before him, and the mere emergence of his presence was enough to cause the finest warriors to lay down their present undertakings and follow him. So was he able to call to his side the great shield sisters Froa and Grosta, who thought and spoke as one, and they brought with them the wise war teacher Adrimk, who first taught them to dance among the blades. She, in turn, mustered all the students at her command, whose names were not yet made, but some of whom would one day be known. Hermesker, who threw his shield, Erlak, who breathed fire, Ramph the Greater, Merkilian Ramph, and the far-sighted Uche, who would see the first of many dawns. On the day of final passage, when the many-oared fleet would last see the distant green summers of Atmora, the brothers were near in their father's wake as the freshly joined 500 would eagerly press onwards towards Tamriel. Ilgar could see his well-minded brother smiling from afar across the waves, and they shouted war cries to each other, longing for the soon day when their assembled crews would draw the treacherous elf blood into the ground, which they would now claim for their own rights. But Kind's ministrations are not to be taken lightly, and though her blessings gave wind to drive those brave sailors to their destiny, so too did her mighty tears fall to drive them apart. When the storm of separation first arose, young Ilgar had no fear, for his crew was strong and able, and their ship drove true through the forest of swells as though pulled by the rope of fate. When the skies cleared and Ilgar glimpsed again with new eyes the land of his past and future home, he knew his brother's vessel was not within his horizon. The Daramzu, arriving late, drew forth onto the sands, and Ilgar rushed to his father to seek word of his brother. The great Ysgramor, harbinger of us all, wept for his lost son, and sought comfort in the arms of his only remaining joy. The crew of the Harak became the first deaths among the 500, and Ilgar so enraged with love for his brother that his crew would soon be counted as first among the many noble and honored names in the Companions. Songs of the Return, Volume 7. The Tale of the Jorvasker. Take that one off the book list. When at last the rightful claim of Sarthal had been retaken, driving the murderous elves back to their lofty cities, did great Ysgramor turn and let loose the fearsome war cry that echoed across all the oceans. The 500 who yet stood joined in the ovation for the victory and the lament for their fallen peers. It was said to be heard on the distant and chilling green shores of Atmora, and the ancestors knew their time had come to cross the seas. As the reverberations echoed out and drowned to silence, all looked to Ysgramor, who bore the blessed Wuthrad, for his next commandment. With his lungs that bellowed forth the fury of humanity, he bade them to continue their march, that the devious Mer might know the terror they had brought on themselves with their trickery. Go forth, he roared, into the belly of this new land. Drive the wretched from their palaces of idleness. Oblige them to squalor and toil, that they would see their betrayals as the all sin against our kind. Give no quarter, show no kindness, for they would not give nor show you the same. Our great forebear gave this order, as he did not yet understand the prophecy of the twin snakes, that he would be fated to die before seeing the true destiny of his line. Hearing this, the circle of captains gathered each their crews unto themselves. From here, they decreed, we will go forth. Let each ship's band make its own way, seeking their fates to the open sun. A night spent in feasting, the oath of the companions was sworn anew, with each of the 500, so they still named their count in honor of the shields that were broken at Sarthal, swearing to act as shield brother and shield sister to any of the Atmoran line, were their fates to ever again entwine. As the red hands of dawn stretched from the east, so broke the 500 companions of Ysgramor, setting about their journeys, sailing now across the land with waves of stone and crests of trees flowing under their footed hulls. The first to break from the grounded fleet was the crew of the Jorvaskr, who had been formed of Ysgramor's closest friends. Their captain was known as Jeek of the River, so called by the Harbinger himself from their youths past in glory. When assembling their glistening hull, he sought out the labors of Menro and Manwë, who now bore the native timbers across this new land of Tamriel. Among their fiercest were Tisnal, who was twice named, and Ter, his twin and shield brother, whose girth was never spoken of to his face. There were others too in their band, Mexim the Walker, Brunel, who fought with his offhand, and Just the Smiler. These and others were sworn to Jeek, and they pushed forth into the shadows where yet the sun had not reached. Southwards they went, by beast and by foot. Elves they found, though none remained to tell what those battles entailed. The numbers of the Jorvaskr never faltered, so shrewd were they in battle, with minds as sharp as their blades. Once, as the sun beat from its high home, Jonder the Tiny, the one who ran ahead, came over the hill to tell what was seen. Amidst a vast plain his eyes had met a monument of a bird, whose eyes and beak were opened in flame. When his brothers and sisters crested the hill, they too saw its glory, but they were afraid, for no elven settlement could be seen to the horizon. "But this is not seemly," said Clúe, who went by Loate when hiding his face. "Is not this wide land fit for harvest? Why have not the elves, vile to their core, seen to exploit and tame it?" They asked of their elven captives, for they had many, what they found unfit about these plains, yet even the captives who still bore their tongues could say nothing of the valley. They looked with fear at the winged colossus, and from their babblings did the warriors of the Jorvaskr learn that it was older than even the elves themselves. Of those who wrought it solid from its mother stone nothing could be said, but it was known to drive a magic almost as old as Nirn itself, some remnant of the gods' efforts to render a paradise in Mundus before the shattering of Lorkhan. This first of many, this crew of the Jorvaskr, heathens and ancestors to us all, feared no stories or gods. Indeed, if there was something the elves feared, they would have it for their own. Thus began the labors once more of Menro and Manwë, whose eager hands again laid to the Atmoran wood which had borne them all across the sea, and what was their ship became their shelter, as this valley became their purview until the end of all their days. Thus began the building of the great city, circled by the running of the White River, as brought forth by these beloved of Ysgramor, yet but 22 of the glorious 500 companions. Songs of the Return, Volume 19. The Second Tale of the Ilgermet. Take that one off my list. When that final battle at the Barren Pass was completed and the melting snow carried elf blood back to the sea, the crew of the Kal Kaz, the Sedon Wraith, and the most exalted crew of our Lord's ship, the Ilgermet, at last parted ways, never to join shields again. They drew apart in that form which is not a loss, but a gain in knowing one's heart can be carried in the chests of others. So great was the love that those first of the 500 had for each other, and most especially for the great Ysgramor, harbinger of us all. They pressed eastwards, seeking the sea, when they came upon the barrow of Ingol, the mighty Ysgramor's son, who had fallen to the whims of kine rather than the treachery of the elves. Our Lord had not expected to lay eyes upon it again so soon, and his grief flowed anew at the sight of it, as a reopened wound will bleed as it did when first received. His eyes turned to the south, where a river met the sea, and decreed that there would he and the crew of the Ilgermet create a great city, in monument to the glories of mankind, that from his palace he might always look upon the hill of his dear son's resting place, and feel that his line would know peace in this new home that was never known in Atmora. The elven captives were set to work, bringing forth stone to build in their conqueror's fashion. As many elves died in the building of the city as had the crew of the Ilgermet slain while on way to its site, and Ysgramor drove the wretches ever more to build higher, to lay a claim to the river so that none might pass into the interior of this land without first showing due respect to its rightful claimant. Thus was the great bridge constructed, forever striding the river that no elf might sneak through to avenge his devious cousins. As the bridge was built log, so too was the palace built high, spires reaching the sky to show dominion even over the very winds that had brought forth such a grief. In the deep hollows beneath the city, a great tomb was prepared for the day when Lord Ysgramor, harbinger to us all, would be called home to glory in Sovngarde. But as we know, he chose instead to be buried on the shore, facing towards Atmora, that though his heart lived and died in this new land, it would forever yearn for the beauties of still green Atmora before the freezing took it. Thus was founding of Windhelm, the city of kings, though her history is long and her glories did not end with her founder. And finally, for this building, Songs of the Return, Volume 56, The Final Tale of the Creon. Take that one off the list. The Songs of the Return are eternal and numerous for those first 500, those companions of Ysgramor who cleared the way for mankind's rightful habitation, burned with a fire not seen since those days, long past. Each ship carried a crew that performed legendary feats that could feed the pride of any nation for 1,000 years. And during this time of the broadening, scores of companions wandered the land, bringing the light of the proper gods to the heathen land of elves and beasts. They were but mortal, though, and in time all would taste the glories of Sovngarde. It was in one of the uncounted years after the retaking of Sarthal that the crew of the Creon was declaring their fortunes in the eastern lands near the Red Mountain. They were encamped, surrounded by bodies of murderous elves who had attempted to make them believe they held peace in their hearts. The shrewd Rorlak was the Creon's captain, though, and would show no quarter to the liars of the Southlands, as had been commanded by his lord Ysgramor, harbinger of us all. It was in this state of carousing that they were approached by a young and breathless messenger of their sister crew from the Kal Kaz. The boy, Asgir, as his name is now sung, had ran unimaginable distance at breakneck speed from the blood-stained fields of the clouded sun to deliver the news to all who would hear. When he reached their camp, he bellowed a great sob before relieving his heart with the news that the mighty Ysgramor had breathed his last. Asgir continued his swift run to inform the other crews as quickly as they could be found, for there were many now crawling the land, rendering our legacy from their deeds. And the camp of the Creon descended into a mourning of the most forlorn sort. Among these fires sat the bravest men and fiercest women who have ever graced the dirt of this land, and they were brought low by such a notion. While we in the Dayshine know only Ysgramor's glory as it gleams through history, these companions knew his might with their own eyes, and such a loss hangs so heavily on the heart that mere words cannot express the altering of their world. For indeed the stories tell that Rorlak, the most battle-hardened and unflinching of all captains, did collapse with grief, and never lifted again his mighty axe. And all around Tamriel, as the news spread as a dark cloud washes from horizon to horizon, did brilliant lights go out in silent honor of their fallen general and war leader. So ended the period of the Return, and the original glories of the 500 companions of Ysgramor, harbinger of us all. Now I'm going to go offload the varied goodies I found in here, and when I come back, I'm going to speak to Sven and Hildy and in fact, I'll speak to Hildy now before I leave.
Nobody believes me, but I tell you, I saw a dragon. By shore, what do you want?
The next thing I'm going to do is the little quest, A Lovely Letter, and adopt Faendal as a follower. He's a better bet than Sven because his level cap is 10 levels higher. That's pretty much all you need to know, really. But I'm also going to clear out their homes. Faendal, who I'm going to side with, will make friends with, and because he's going to be a follower, I don't even need to pickpocket him. I can just trade with him, to get his house key and whatnot. Sven and Hildy will need to be spoken to, pickpocketed, and useful things stolen like usual.
It's my boy Sven you need to listen to. He sings at the inn most every night. Sven has the voice of a snowlark. Only good thing he got from his father. My boy fancies that Camilla Valerius. She'll come around soon enough. Camilla, I've seen her talking to that Faendal. Filthy elf needs to keep to his own kind. What's happened to my Skyrim? Everywhere you look, cats, lizards, and elves. It's sickening. I raised my Sven to be strong and proud. A true Nord. Hmm?
Alright. Now we can pick her pockets.
To even think about it.
I'd really prefer if I could stay hidden somehow. That can be tough, though.
Yes?
Oh, she's not looking at me. Good. So let's take her gold. Let's take her key.
Filthy pick. Why, you...
Oh, come on. Let's take her lockpick. And let's take her silver necklace. That is the second necklace I've found. I need 4 more. And we're done picking her pocket. But with that key in hand, I can quickly roll into their house, find all the useful stuff, and swipe it. 10 leather strips leaves me needing, 117 more. That's not too shabby. I have no use for anything else. Cabbage, useless. This stuff looks good. Nothing useful on there. Salt piles are useful. Nothing good. Gold, a horse hide, and a mammoth tusk. We eventually need 2 mammoth tusks for a pair of quests, and that's our first one. Very cool. Now over here, there's gold in that end table. There's salt in that one. Already got Blackbriar mead, which means that's not useful anymore. None of that is useful either, so we're done here. Let me
By sure. What
hit
do
the
you want?
tanning rack with the 2 horse hides. So that gives me 3 leather. That more than covers the 1 that I still needed for the old gear, or for the crafting loop. So I need to keep 1 of these, which means I can turn 5 into leather strips, which will be a total of 20, leaving me with 97 to go. There we go. Now, Sven, we can ordinarily find either in his house, or if he's not there, he'll be in the Sleeping Giant Inn, which I'm not actually clearing yet. We're just sticking our heads inside. We'll listen to a default conversation, and we'll talk to and pickpocket Sven as needed.
This is an ode to Skyrim's staunch
Orgnar,
protectors.
are you listening?
Imperials.
Hard not to.
The ale is going
Bring
bad.
to our
We need to get a new
youth
batch.
Today's come and gone. For the age of
Did you hear me?
aggression is just
Yep,
about
ale's
done.
going bad.
I guess you don't have potatoes in your ears after
Drive
all.
out the
Just
storm,
make sure we
folks,
get a
and
fresh batch
restore
in
what
soon.
we own. With our blood and our steel, we will take back our home.
So I want his gold.
Think you can steal?
His key is
Down
redundant.
with Ulfric, the
But I do want his lockpick.
never should have come. Children of Skyrim, and we.
And I definitely want this ring. It's going to be hard to get.
You're as good.
But I need it.
But this land is ours, and we'll see it wiped clean of the scourge that has sullied our hopes and our dreams.
Awesome.
Faendal thinks he can woo Camilla Valerius away from me. She's already mine, I keep telling him. You look like a traveler. Someone that has seen faraway places and heard new stories. Until I've been trained as a skald, as was my father and my father's father before him. My time at the Bard's College was brief. A prodigy has little need for formal education. I'm composing a new song. A ballad for Camilla Valerius. I'd better get going. Someday Camilla will know my affections. Someday. Need something?
Can I make a request?
Sure. What can I do for you?
Can you sing Ragnar the Red?
Ah, a fine but bloody tale. I can do that one. Oh, did you need something?
Can I make a request?
What can I do for you?
Do you know the age of aggression?
Only true Imperials request that one. Need something?
I saw a dragon in Helgen.
Truly? So maybe my mother isn't crazy after all. You had best tell the Jarl in Whiterun. He needs to know about this.
Where did you learn to play so well?
At the Bard's College in Solitude. They train bards and skalds like myself. If you go there, talk to Viarmo. He's the headmaster.
Investigate the Bard's College. Is there somewhere I can buy fresh supplies?
Lucan's got a little bit of everything at the Riverwood Trader. If you need weapons or armor, see Alvor, the blacksmith.
You and Faendal both like the same girl?
Camilla Valerius knows I'm the best man in Riverwood. That elf is kidding himself if he thinks she would choose him over me. I've seen him sneaking over to the Riverwood Trader to speak with her when I'm not around. He's wasting his time.
He sounds persistent. Why not do something about it?
You may be right. Camilla may see Faendal as little more than a friend, but why take chances? Here, give Camilla this letter. It's full of venomous nonsense. Tell her it's from Faendal.
Sven's fake letter from Faendal added. Deliver Sven's letter to Camilla. Optional, tell Faendal about Sven's letter.
I'd better get going.
This is usually... Well, I like to read it first. Sven's fake letter from Faendal. Dear Camilla, I know I have called upon you at your house many times, and while we may be growing close, I need you to put any desires you may have for me aside. I am a true-born son of Valenwood, and I could never befoul my bloodline by courting an Imperial. I hope we can remain true friends, provided you understand your people's place in the Aldmeri Dominion, and respect me as such. Sincerely, Faendal. Let me take that off my list. And... this is the quest, A Lovely Letter, and truly the only repercussion is which one can be your follower, and which one you end up being friends with. I always side with Faendal. He's less douchey, and he's a better follower. To me, those two factors combined pretty much make it a no-brainer. Let's run to Faendal's house. Once we resolve the quest in his favor, he'll just chat with us and everything will be free to take anyway. And in fact, I'm going to have him follow me, so no need to pickpocket him.
Riverwood's agreeable enough, I suppose, for a Nord village. There's beauty here unmatched in all of Skyrim, to be sure. Maybe you've already met Camilla Valerius. If only Camilla shared my affections, or even knew about them. Are you a hunter by chance? The hills surrounding the village are ripe with game. I work at the lumber mill, but I escape into the forest whenever possible. I miss Valenwood, but the wilds here are serviceable. I don't like to brag, but I once took down a bear at 300 yards in a blizzard. Breton?
I never do training. Sven wanted me to deliver this letter to Camilla, saying it was from you.
What is that blowhard up to now? So, he thinks he can turn Camilla against me. Two can play at this. Here, give this letter to Camilla and tell her it's from Sven. Let's see what she thinks of him after reading that.
Sven's fake letter from Faendal removed, Faendal's fake letter from Sven added. Completed, optional, tell Faendal about Sven's letter. Deliver Faendal's letter to Camilla.
All right, then.
Will do. And that is going to complete the quest. I have it on my list as a miscellaneous quest in Riverwood. A lovely letter.
Mara bless you for agreeing to help us.
I have a letter for you from Sven. Oh wait, I need to read it first. Faendal's fake letter from Sven. My dearest Camilla, I yearn to have you as my own, washing my linens and my fine blonde hair, to cook my dinner from my stove and tend to my house while I wander. Yours truly, Sven. So, take the quest off the list. Take the letter off the list. Faendal's fake letter from Sven is done. Now we'll tell her about it.
You're not from around here.
I have a letter for you
That
from
makes two of-
Sven.
Another poem, I bet. He does know how to make a girl blush. What's this? If that oaf thinks all I'm going to do is stay in that filthy house of his and clean, You can tell Sven that he already has a mother. I'm not speaking to him anymore. I'd better get going.
Faendal's fake letter from Sven removed. Completed. Deliver Faendal's letter to Camilla. Talk to Faendal. That's pretty straightforward as well. Once we do, things get pretty good.
Riverwood's agreeable enough, I suppose, for a Nord village.
I don't think Camilla will be spending any more time with Sven.
I appreciate your help. Please, take this. Some gold I've saved up from working at the mill.
Completed. Talk to Faendal. 25 gold added. Follow me. I need your help.
Lead the way.
Now, the unfortunate reality of having an archer follower is the game kind of caps their effectiveness, so you can't ever upgrade their bow, even if you want to. You can, however, upgrade their arrows. So he's got steel arrows right now. I'm going to be on the lookout for better arrows to trade to him. Similarly, he also levels one-handed, so we're going to...
I'm right behind you.
I need to trade some things with you.
What do you want me to carry?
For the moment, I just need your house key, the letter, and the rest of that is good, but we'll be giving you a better weapon than a dagger shortly.
You lead, I'll follow.
So Faendal is light armor, archery, although that's just consists of giving him better arrows, and one-handed. So let's see what we've got over here now that everything's free to take. We have 2 saber cat pelts, which is awesome. I need 4 of those for Hearthfire. Of those 2, we only need 2 more. Got a few iron arrows, ammo, potion of minor healing, potion of true shot, steel war axe.
I'm right behind you.
That's certainly better than the iron dagger.
What do you want me to carry?
Take that. We'll give him that.
Lead on.
And here's a new book, Ode to the Tundra Striders. I'll roll up and take it off the list right quick. There we go. O mighty Tundra Strider, how you and your mighty tusked beast silhouette against the great orange expanse. Thundering footsteps herald your herd, man and beast blazing trail together. One in nature, each relying upon the other, more than just man and beast, but equals who need one another to survive. How I long to run across the tundra in their mighty wake. That would truly be my greatest honor. The morning would be spent gathering dyes to paint our mammoths and then carve the fiercest images into their tusks. Then it would be time for the skeever hunt. Our clubs would rain down upon the rat pests, smashing the life out of them. In the evening could sit around the campfire, and I would regale those nearby with songs of their majesty and grace. They would let me sample of the mammoth's cheese, a food so foul yet with healing properties so great. We'd snack on the roasted skeever we'd freshly caught that day, before laying under the stars to sleep. I'd slowly fade to dream nested in the radiating heat of mammoth fur, its cold-resisting properties keeping me snug. What a grand time we would have, unknown. Scourge of the Grey Quarter is a new book by Frilgeth Horsebreaker. Give it a read right quick. The tragedies befalling Morrowind do bring forth pity from even the stoutest Nordic heart. The Dark Elves deserve our condolences, but thus far they do not show themselves deserving of the simplest acts of charity. There are very different approaches to how to deal with the imminent problem of Morrowind, and I offer two options as seen in practice in Skyrim. One should serve as an exemplar, the other a cautionary tale. Consider Riften, which shares a border with the ruined province. A number of the Dark Elves have made their homes there, but they are expected to earn their livelihoods as is any other citizen of the great city. They ply trades as merchants, work in the temple, and serve in the keep. Honest labor to be admired from a race that was so recently in such dire straits as to even warrant this discussion. Today the city still has its share of problems, but they are not traceable to any influx of outsiders in their presence. In short, the Dark Elves have properly assimilated themselves into the Skyrim way of life, to be expected from any newcomer to these lands. For an alternative approach, we only have to look at the once proud city of Windhelm to see what can happen when our arms are cast too wide open in welcome. To think that the city of Ysgramor, whose very name was made in driving out the elves from our sacred home, would open itself as a welcome destination for any refugee from the smoking sulfur, is a disgrace to the very idea of being a Nord. And what has become of this? Predictably, the lazy, discontented rabble has descended into squalor in an area now delicately referred to as the Grey Quarter of the city. They were not expected to contribute, and so have not. That they attempt to make over a proud Nord city into a little pocket of Morrowind is insulting enough, but the amount of unrest they have provoked, even within the proper city walls, should give any other Jarl reason to fear. The Nords I talk to in the city speak of constant strife and crime coming from the Grey Quarter with no respite in sight. The city guard barely patrol there, leaving the Dark Elves to mete out whatever passes for justice in their native customs. The respectable families of the city, the Cruelseas and Shattershields, speak with an almost parental affection of the Argonians in their employ, but the Dark Elves have made no effort to ingratiate or assimilate themselves to the proper city dwellers. There is cause for optimism, though, as Jarl Ulfric is not nearly so tolerant of these substandard beings as his fathers were. Indeed, the soft hand of Hogue can be seen in the city's Argonian population as well. The fishmen, at least, have learned how to best contribute to their new home. They have proven themselves as models, toiling at the docks with utmost efficiency and bright smiles. It would do the Dark Elves well to pay heed to their scaly cousins. I would expect in due course that they will find themselves either contributing more directly or once again wandering the land in search of roof and warmth. Pension of the Ancestor Moth. That's another new book. To be read by all novitiates of the temple. The Order of the Ancestor Moth is as ancient as it is noble. We nurture and celebrate our beloved ancestors whose spirits are manifest in the ancestor moths. Each moth carries the Fjairon of an ancestor's spirit. Loosely translated as the will to peace, the Fjairon can be sung into the silk produced by the ancestor moths. When the silk is in turn spun into cloth and embroidered with the genealogy of the correct ancestor, clothing of wondrous power can be made. Adepts of our order are gifted with prescient powers. The wisdom of the ancestors can sing the future into the present. For this reason, our order and our order alone has been given the privilege to interpret the Elder Scrolls. These writings exceed even the gods, both Aedra and Daedra. Such insight into the inner fabric of reality comes at a price. Each reading of the Elder Scrolls is more profound than the last. Each leaves the priest blind for longer and longer periods of time. Finally, the last reading achieves a nearly sublime understanding of that scroll's contents, but the priest is left permanently blinded to the light of this world. No longer can he read the scrolls. This monastery is dedicated to the service of these noble members of our order. They now live out their lives with the ancestor moths that they so love. Their underground domains are well suited to the moths. They raise and nurture the fragile creatures, singing to them constantly. They harvest the silk and spin it into bolts of cloth. They weave the cloth, embroidering it with the genealogies and histories of the ancestors that spun the silk. This is their new life. As they tend the ancestor moths, so we tend the blind monks. While they toil in dark, we serve in the light. They need food and water, we provide. They need tools and furniture, we provide. They need secrecy and anonymity, we provide. They need purveyors to sell the fruit of their labors, we provide. At one time, we also provided protection. Many generations ago, Gudrun came to our temple. Newly blinded by visions of what was to be, she brought with her new teachings. The visions of the ancestors foresaw the need of the monks to defend themselves. They train and practice the teachings of Gudrun constantly. They are masters of the sword of no sword, the axes of no axe. As a novitiate, you will learn the teachings of Gudrun. You will learn the way of the peaceful fist. You will learn to serve the blind monks. You will learn to provide. In time you may attain the peace and insight of the ancestor moths. And Killing Before You're Killed by Eduardo Corvus. Yet another new book. It's going to be pretty common early on. New books will be pretty frequent. I've seen many a man rush headlong into battle only to have their life cut short in an instant. I've been a trainer of the warrior arts for many spans, cut from the cloth of a great lineage of knights, blades, and even a distant sellsword or two. It's with this knowledge that I'll try to pen a brief treatise on the subtle art of war. Not mage fire, not archery, or criminal throat-slitting, but war. Man on man with nothing but a fine bit of steel between them. The first thing you'll need to learn is how to block. The best way not to get killed is not to let the other man hit you. Use a shield, use it well. Now you'll get tired from this. You may even get a little hurt. But a blocked blow is much better than a landed one. Over time you'll get better, eventually shrugging off even the mightiest of hits. But beware. Your foes, if they're not base cur bandits, will know how to counter you. They'll hit you with everything they've got in order to open you up and keep on hitting, so watch for these powerful attacks. While it's still better to absorb the impact with a quarter-inch of steel, it's best to try to just step out of the way. Remember, against spells, your blocking is useless until you're trained, so get up on mages quickly and let them eat steel. Deserves them right for using a witch weapon. You can also block without a shield as well. Just cross that blow with your sword, though this isn't nearly as effective. And if you decide you're fancy and want to wield two blades, you can't block at all, so don't even try. Without both hands on the hilt, you just won't have the strength to counter blows. But with a weapon in each hand, you are much more likely to take your opponent down quickly. The best defense, some say. To wield the blade, there are some fundamentals. Quick strikes are always good, but can be repelled, so watch for your opponent's own defensive postures. Wait for an opening, or create one with your own heavy attacks. Hammers hit hardest, but are slow. Same with maces and all blunt weaponry. Axes are a nice middle ground, while swords are the quickest, but won't stagger your opponent as efficiently with the hard hits. Keep an eye not to get too exhausted. Always try to save a little of your strength to counter blows or even run. Keep moving during a fight. Never let yourself get cornered or surrounded. Pick your threats. Weak spellcasters that can hurt you quick are the first things I fell. The shield is not only a defensive tool. Put your shoulder into it and bash your opponent. This sends them flying and opens them up for quick counter-assaults. Even better, put extra weight into it and power bash your opponent. If they're small, this will put them on their knees. Bigger opponents cannot be staggered by heavy attacks. Only the power bash will really knock them around and create openings for you to exploit. So again, block, counter, bash. Hit them when they're down. They'll show no mercy, so why should you? Battle is about the offense, about catching your foe early and never relenting. Keep moving, keep swinging. If you consider yourself overly powerful, pick up a two-handed weapon and see your foes fall before you like wheat stalks. They're slow and unwieldy, but they shatter bones and cleave flesh better than anything. The graves are filled with many a mediocre swordsman. If you don't have the stomach for war, try a monk's work. But if you do travel the path of the warrior, learn the basics and keep your head firmly planted on your shoulders, or someone's bound to lob it off. Alright, banded iron shield. None of this is particularly helpful, but we'll take it because it's free. There is our second mammoth tusk. That's all we need. Those are now useless except for selling. That was quick. I think I should be able to cook something right quick. Yes, here we go. Let me just pick one. Shouldn't really matter. I'll burn a rabbit leg and make a rabbit haunch. There, we've cooked food, which will get us an achievement once we also chop wood. Is the one we haven't done yet. Well, that cupboard is empty. Go figure. Here's another new book, Herbane's Bestiary, Ice Wraiths. Herbane's Bestiary, the Ice Wraiths. Let me take that off my list right quick. 17 Last Seed. When winter's chill descended upon me as I traveled further north through the frozen plains and mountains, I settled in at the inn at Dawnstar for a moment of respite and a warm meal. Another traveler there told me to be cautious, that there are creatures who settle into the powder white of the snow with nary a clue to the careless until it is too late. He went on and on with wild gestures and fantastic tales of entire merchant expeditions being killed by the beasts. His stories frightened the other inn patrons, but I will not be turned by a coward's tale. I will see these for my own eyes, for those icy caves and snow-capped peaks of the north are exactly the type of places that call to an adventurer like me. It did not take me long to find what I sought. These ice wraiths are lucid, serpentine creatures of magic, as if conjured from the frozen tundra and glaciers of Skyrim itself. At one with an environment that makes them nearly invisible, these ethereal apparitions are the death of many Nords, if not by their sudden, unholy strike that casts their entire body through their target, then by the malady of Witbane, a curse of infection that dulls the intellect and makes the target even more the victim. As deadly as they are, ice wraiths are simple-minded in their determination, and combat is a straightforward affair, and brute force and a sharp blade are enough to fell these savage creatures. Only the hardiest of men would hope to survive just one of these beasts, but I have slain two with general ease. It's good that I've found I can make decent coin selling the ice wraith's teeth, as they are a prized ingredient in alchemical potions. That will continue to afford me the opportunity to search these lands for a challenge worthy of story, for I have yet to see what would make me tremble. End table has nothing too important. This chest has nothing. And there we go. Let's roll out. Now, there's more to do in Riverwood, but I am very close to the 1 hour mark, and I want to offload, because I'm at a pretty good little stopping point. We've still got the Sleeping Giant Inn and Hod and Girder's house to clear out in Riverwood. And there are actually a couple of little things we can do. Let me start, I think, the banded iron shield. an upgrade in the heavy shield department, and in fact it is. That's it as far as that goes. Let's go over here now. First, let's drop off everything that's just vendor trash. Ah, damn. I missed that cowhide. I'm actually gonna jog back and handle that now, because the good news is we're still in no danger of attacks. Not until we hit level 10. So the cowhide turns into how much leather? 3, which will be 12 more strips, which will drop my needed total to 85. Much better. Okay. Back to it now. Alright. These books are all vendor trash, as is all this food, except the hunting brew mead. That I won't be using. Those potions are still good. That and that are trash. As are that, and that, and those, and that, and that, and that. One of those hunting bows, however, was not. It needs to go in here, because there is no longer any need to be carrying it, since I've got Faendal now to handle combat for me. In that spirit, let's give him some good light armor. Imperial light armor. It's literally identical to studded armor, so I'll give him a set of studded armor. Probably a fine hide helmet. Imperial light boots. Fur bracers. Yeah, I think that's everything.
I've got your back.
I need to trade some things with you.
What do you want me to carry?
Let's armor him up. He can have those, that, those, and that. Until I find better stuff.
You lead, I'll follow.
Let's pop down. Wait. Let's get a rested bonus. Because I've got a wee bit of enchanting to do. Ingredients go in here, of course. They all do. Alright. Now, this is gear checklist stuff. Those all go in there. Crafting loop stuff. That and 3 more leather strips. Is that right? No, it's more than that. 7. Sorry. 7 leather strips go in there. That's it for crafting stuff. In here go bear pelt, the rest of the leather strips, both mammoth tusks, both saber cat pelts, both straws, and the wolf pelt. Yes, yes, yes. Gems go in here. And we go over here to learn the effect Fortify Restoration and get ourselves another rank of enchanting. That's strong work indeed. And I'll head back to Riverwood now, and we'll end the video because I've been playing, I think, 66 minutes. So this has been Let's Play Skyrim. We're making pretty good progress, believe it or not. We're nearly done in Riverwood, and then this time around we're going to head straight for Whiterun, but now we've got Faendal to handle combat, and it's going to be much, much easier, as you'll see the first time it happens. So until then, thank you very much for watching. I hope the sound issues are finally fixed with those in-game setting tweaks I made. See you next time. Bye-bye.